Win 530.
All right.
530 scholars. 530. What time is it? 530. What time is it? 530. What time is it? 530. All we do is win. All we do is win. All we do is win. 530.
Y'all ready to get it popping today?
530 scholars. 530. What time is it? 530. What time is it? 530. What time is it?
It's about to go down.
All we do is win. All we do is win. All we do is
All right, share this with your friends. We got a hot one today. We talking about slopes today. If you want, say what's up. Introduce yourself. Tell us where you from.
530 scholars. 530. What time is it? 530. What time is it? 530. What time is it? 530. All we do is win. All we do is win. All we do is win. 530.
All right. So we got the hype music. That's my favorite song. Is quickly rising to the top spot on my Billboard. One, because there's only one song on my chart. All right, so this is Silas Green. I'm founder of MyT Training, co-founder of the 530 Scholars. So today we got a hot lesson. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope lesson of step two. So before 530 today, we was coming on. We came on about 50 days straight with live lessons so that you and the kids can go back to school and be geniuses. All right, so it's been a while. We had to regroup. We had to figure out different formulas, expand the team, get our summer camp ready. So tomorrow we're going to have a huge announcements for our summer camp. It's virtual, so everybody can participate in our summer camp. So that's good. All right, so we just had to get those things in place. And, I mean, COVID, right? So we had to make some adjustments just like everybody else. We had to figure some things out just like everybody else. But now we are back with a vengeance, and I have the most potent lesson that has ever been lessoned in the history of lessons for you today. So it is on. All right, so everybody say where you from. Go ahead and invite your friends. I want this to be interactive. If you know me, you know I like interactive lessons. So make sure that you are sharing this with your friends, and let's get this thing popping. All right, so yesterday we had a chat about how we need to be proactive and how we need to, as parents, how we need to support the school system as community leaders, how we need to get involved. This is another way of me getting involved. And this is me just doing direct instruction to parents, to students, and giving y'all the game. So I'm about to give y'all the game on slopes. All right, so I am going to switch over. So I want everybody just get ready to get this thing popping. Share with 5 friends. Everybody hurry up. Let's share this with 5 friends, because I don't want the replay to be boring. In the first 5 minutes of the replay, I'm telling y'all to share it with friends. So go ahead, make it quick. Share it with a whole bunch of friends. I'm going to share it with a whole bunch of my friends, and we are going to talk about slopes. All right, so today we're going to talk about slopes. All right, so if you hated geometry, or if you didn't do great in geometry, then this is for you. All right, if your kid is going to take the ACT, then this is for you, right? If you're rich and you don't mind, your kid doesn't need to get a good score on the ACT because you're going to pay for it anyway, just go ahead and log off, because it doesn't matter how they do on the ACT. But before you log off, share it with some friends, because this is for them. All right, so we're going to talk about slopes today. All right, let's get this thing popping. All right, I can't even see how I can share this on my phone. All right, here we go. So slopes. All right, so in geometry, slopes are very important. On our tests, they are the things that we get wrong because we don't quite understand them. This is one of the places in our math class where we ask the teachers, when am I going to ever use this? I know you guys had that conversation with teachers before. You're like, when am I ever going to use this in life? Unless I'm a math teacher or go in this field, I don't know when I'm going to use this. All right, so slopes does not fit into the category of things that you will never use. So if you plan on owning your own business, you need to understand slopes, because when you're looking at graphs, that's going to tell you whether you're making the money that you set out to make. It's going to tell you whether you're making more money or less money. When you're like putting ads and stuff on Instagram and boosting stuff on Facebook or Instagram, it's going to tell you if something is working, when it's not working. So if one particular post, like we posted a $60 assessment. It's normally $160. We posted it for $60. Nobody signed up for the assessment. So I'm not posting that assessment no more. I boosted it. I paid $200 to boost the assessment. Nobody signed up for an assessment that was $100 off. All right, so maybe something was wrong with the ad. Maybe people didn't like the ad. Maybe when they were scrolling, it wasn't engaging. Maybe I need more kids on the ads and people will watch it. For whatever reason, I looked at the slope of the sales, didn't go up. We'll never spend money on that ad again. Not saying that I will not offer it for $100 off. Maybe this is a better way to offer it to you. So go to our website and save $100 on a $160 assessment. It'll be $60. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. But if I look in my slope and I see that those assessments went up, by the way, I'm not joking. I'm very serious. Like, if you don't have an assessment for your kid in math, how do you know what they need to work on this summer? So if you're not in our summer camp and you're not getting those assessments done, please get those done. So right now they're $100 off. They're normally $160. For $100, you get a detailed assessment. $60, you get a detailed assessment and a coaching call with one of us. And we're going to tell you exactly what you need to work on this summer. But that's enough of that. Today, we want to talk about some slopes. My iPad is like, I'm not with the foolishness. I'm going to sleep every time you start talking. All right, so here we go. Slopes. All right. So slopes. So first, let's talk about math. Mathematics is the art of giving the same name to different things. And I really believe that that's true. I know that that's true. So in math, stuff is hard because we feel like we're starting over every time. But I want to talk about slopes today in a way that's very familiar to all of you guys, and so that everybody will understand that it's nothing new. We've probably been understanding the concept of slopes since about 4th grade, but when we get to 10th grade and we call it slopes, then like a lot of times we just get confused and we just believe that it's super, super hard and we don't do so well. All right, so geometry is the art of measuring things. All right, so slopes in real life, they measure hills. You can use slopes to measure ramps. You can use slopes to measure a lot of things. I want to be using slopes to measure my bank account. That's what I want to do. I want to use slopes to measure my bank account, right? Because I want to be a baller. I want to be a baller, shot caller, 20-inch rims on the Impala. That's what I want. Maybe 22. I don't know. But does it have to be an Impala? Probably not. It's not my style, but you get the point. All right, so geometry is the art of measuring things. So let's talk about slopes. All right, so we want to recognize them when we see them. And actually, just so you know, I didn't make this. It was a free post on Pinterest, and I just grabbed it. It said free, so I figured it was cool. All right, so slope. So when we talk about slopes, I want you to look at this. So a positive slope goes up and right. So a positive slope is going to go up and right. All right. A negative slope is going to go down and right. All right. So that's how we're going to know the difference between slopes. So a positive slope is going to go up and right. A negative slope is going to go down and right. So you do not want your bank account to look like this red slope at all, ever in life. You don't want that. Trust me, you don't. You don't want that. That really will lose you money. All right. So positive slope goes up and right or left and down, right? But let's just focus on one direction. There's no need to focus on both directions. A negative slope is going to go down and to the right. All right. So that's how you know whether you're gaining money or whether you're losing money. All right. So is everybody good so far? All right. So let's talk about our zero slope. A zero slope is exactly what it says. It's not going up or down. It's just going straight to the right, straight to the left. All right. So everybody is just thinking now, what's the point in that? Why are we even talking about a zero slope, and who would want that? That's what we're saying. We're saying who would even want a zero slope? And I'm like, well, it depends. I would want a zero slope if we were talking about COVID. Who wouldn't want a zero slope if we're talking about COVID? We don't want a positive slope. So that positive is not saying that it's good, right? If it's a bank account, it's good, but positive really means that it has an upward trend, not that it's good or pleasant or beneficial. All right. So a positive slope is going up to the right, negative slope is going down and to the left, and then a zero slope just doesn't grow. And we actually have been using this language when we talk about COVID: flatten the curve. Has everybody heard that? Flatten the curve. So they're assuming, because they're very optimistic, that with COVID, it's going to take a trend like this. And what we're looking for that zero slope around here, right? Before it starts having a negative slope. And in this case, negative is good. All right. It's funny how medicine works like that, right? So when you take a test and you're like, I tested positive, everybody's like, oh, crap, right? That's not good. Right. So when we're talking about infectious diseases, then negative is actually good. So you test negative for an infectious disease, then that's good. All right. So when we talk about medicine, sometimes we have to change our frame of thought. All right. And then we have this undefined slope. I haven't seen that much in life at all. And that's why when you have it, a lot of times it's an error. Maybe you did a calculation wrong. And it's like, what is that, right? So you have a negative slope. It's just like, what is that? That's an error. All right, so let's talk about how we get a slope now. All right, so a slope is literally like y over x. But you need more than 1 point. So you say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that's how you get your slope. So what is this number called? I shouldn't have wrote the y like that. I'm having regrets about how I wrote my y. So let me go ahead and fix that. So let me keep my y above that. All right, so what do we call this number? If I had two numbers there, what would I call that number? All right, so now it's time for some crowd interaction. So what would I call this number if I had two numbers, like 1 and 2? Or 2 and 3. What are these numbers called? All right. So these numbers are often called coordinates, or what? Give me the third grade level answer for that. So when I see 1/2, I immediately know that I am dealing with what? It rhymes with action. That's your hint. So this thing is yes, that's a fraction. All right. And would you agree that fractions are ratios? Is that true or false? Are fractions ratios? What do you guys say? Yay or nay? Are you like, Silas, you tripping? Fractions are not ratios, or are you like, fractions are absolutely ratios? Which camp do you fall in? All right. Fractions are ratios. I'm going to go with, I think that's what that means. So it's true. Oh, that's what it means. True. True, fractions are ratios. Okay, so if fractions are ratios, now we can start working. So this y over x, sometimes people call that rise over run. All right, I have to admit, when I was in school, I just didn't even really know what they were talking about. When they was like, it's just rise over run, it's just rise over run. So, but now I get it. Rise is like how high you can jump. So that's going to be your y-axis. That's what we're measuring on the y-axis. And run is how far you can go. That's going to be my x-axis. So that's what we're measuring on my x-axis. So if I start here in the middle and I say I'm going to go up one, let me change my color. I'm going to go up one and I'm going to go over one. And then I'm going to plot. And then I'm going to go up one again. And I'm going to go over one and I'm going to plot. I'm going to go up one and I'm going to go over one and I'm going to plot. If I make a line the best fit, it's going to look like this. And that is saying when I went up one and over one, that was my slope. So 1 over 1, what fraction is that? If we simplify that fraction, what is that? 1 over 1, what's that as a fraction? All right, that equals 1. All right, let me pick another color to write in because you guys are struggling to see that 1 over 1. Huh? 1 over 1, that's 1. Okay, and that's saying if I went over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I went up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 over 4. So every time I go up 4, I go over 4. So what's that ratio? A 4 to 4 ratio, if we simplify that, that's a what? What kind of ratio is that if we simplify it? I'm thinking a 4 to 4 ratio is probably a 1 to 1 ratio as well, right? So every time I go up 4, I go over 4, so that's 1. So in this case, remember I told you that this was slope. This lesson is about slope, and these are slopes right here. This is my slope formula right here. So my slope is 1, and now we know what that looks like. So when we have a slope of 1, it looks like this. All right, let me make it a brighter color. I'm going to make it red. A slope of 1 looks like this. So let's talk about angles for a second. What kind of angle is this? If you had to guess the measurement of the angle, assuming that this grid is a right angle, which it is. So this grid is a right angle. So this is a right angle. Right? So what measurement would you apply to this red angle that's inside of the blue angle? So what angle is that? All right. So I'm going to say that if I had to guess, that angle would be 45 degrees. That's right. All right. So now we know that the slope of 1 looks like 45 degrees. I'm going to put a star right here because that's only if both the X and Y are measured the same. So let's say if I'm measuring the clients per month and each of these hashes is 1 month. So I'm going up by 1 on the X axis and then I go up by 1 on the Y axis, then it's true. It looks like a 45 degree angle. All right. So if I had a business and my goal was to get customers and I increase by 1 customer a month, then this is what my slope would look like. All right. So if I increase by 2 customers a month, I'm going to make that green because that means I'm making more money. So I'm going to go up to 1, 2. and over 1 month. Then I'm going to go up 2 customers, 1, 2, and over 1 month. So you see, X is often going to measure my time, and Y is going to often measure my amount. I can't say always because you never say always, but that's what's normal. 1, 2, go up 2, go over 1. All right, up 2, 1, 2, over 1, boom. All right, and now this is my line of best fit. All right, so that's my line of best fit. All right, so this is a slope of 2. All right, so that slope equals 2. So what if you had to guess? You're trying to figure out how many degrees this slope of 2 is. What kind of angle do you think that would be? Like what measurement would you give to that angle? Now there's no right or wrong answers. I'm just asking out of curiosity if you had to guess, knowing that the axis is 90, the red angle is 45. So where would that green angle be in your guesstimation? All right, so if you had to guess, what would that be? All right, Rhoda says 60. Do we have any other guesses? 67.5. That's a good guess right there. That is a very good guess. All right. I was going to guess 68. It probably is 67.5 because half of 45 is 22. Right? And then you're just adding half of it to it. And I think that's a great way that math works. So I would guess that was it. All right. Are you some kind of genius or something, Doris? All right. So here we go. Now I want to pick a different color. And I want to see what a slope of 1/2 is. So if my slope equals 1/2, then that means I'm going to go up 1 and over 2. 1, 2. Up 1, over 2. 1, 2. Up 1, over 2. 1, 2. And then if I drew a line of best fit, it would look like this. All right. Up 1 over 2. So there's my line of best fit for the purple one. All right, so how many degrees do you think that purple one is? All right. So it doesn't quite, it kind of looks like half, but it's not quite half. So maybe, yeah. All right, 22.5 is in the ballpark. So I would say that it's kind of doing the same thing the green one was doing. So we are in the ballpark. We know we're close. But what we just found out was what 1 looked like. So this is what a slope of 1 looks like. It looks like the red one. So red is a slope of 1. Green was a slope of 2. And purple was a slope of 1/2. So take a good look at those, and we know what those look like. All right. So this is going to get real good real quick. All right. So this is the part where it gets real good. All right. So when we're doing, you like, it's been good the whole time. I'm like, thank you for the compliment. I agree. All right. So if we were doing negative slope, this is the part that I did not get until I was grown. It doesn't matter whether the top or the bottom is negative. So if you did negative y and positive, or you did positive y and negative x, it does not matter. So here's the inverse. So this is a -1 slope. So it doesn't matter whether the numerator or the denominator is negative. So I'm going to start at 0. And I'm going to go a negative y, which is going down, and a positive x will be going to the right. Boom. Then go down to the right. Boom. Down to the right. Boom. Down one to the right one. Boom. I could also start at 0 and go positive y. Boom. And negative x, which means I would go to the left. Boom. Go up one, positive y, negative x. Boom. Go up one, positive y. Go left for negative x. Boom. This is still the same line of best fit. I always do this. I don't know why I do this. I'm in the wrong color because the slope, the one slope was red, so I need to be red so I don't throw off the color chart. So what color are those? What kind of lines are those red lines? So what kind of lines are those red lines? So we need to dig deep into our our geometry vocabulary and tell me what type of lines are these red lines? All right. So I would call these red lines. Well, first of all, I'll give you a hint. When big streets cross over, we call them what? What do we call big streets that cross over each other? All right. And then the other hint is um, when they create 90-degree angles, lines that cross over each other are called this. All right, so I'm looking for two terms. The first one, correct, is intersecting. And the next one is perpendicular. All right, so got intersecting lines, I got perpendicular lines. That is what these are. They're perpendicular intersecting lines. So whenever you have the inverse of a slope, so positive one and negative one, the shapes will be intersecting lines and they will be perpendicular. They will be exactly perpendicular because they're opposite. All right, so how's everybody doing? All right, so I have this formula here. So we talked about the slope formula. And now we're going to talk about the slope-intercept formula. So in the slope-intercept formula, what we want to pull out of this formula is that this is the place where where the line intersects the y-axis. So if my slope was 1, it would intercept at 3. So I go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to chart this yellow, right? My slope is 1. So it's going to be y equals whatever x is. So if y is 4, if I go up 1, right, then I go over 1. If I go up 1, then I go over 1. Up 1, over 1. So that means my slope is 1 because every time I go up 1, I'm going over 1. So I have a 45-degree. Look at my axis right here. So this is my vertex. So don't let all the lines fool you. This is my vertex over here when it crosses the x-axis. This is my vertex. And as you can see, that is a 45-degree angle. That is a slope of 1. So when we see this slope-intercept form, this number back here, that is the place where line crosses y-axis. All right, and that's all I need to know about it. So you guys just learned a ton. We're gonna go through this. We're gonna go through this Kahoot, and we're gonna see how much you learned. But you guys learned a ton. Trust me on this one. So here we go. Let's review what we learned. We learned that the slope formula is the difference between y, right, over the difference between x, or just y over x. So that's the slope formula. So we learned that. So if in this case, if on this one, if y was 4, y2 is 4, and I always use the one to the most right for y2, minus y1, and then x is 4, x2 minus x1, then I have 3 over 3, and that equals 1, so that's going to be my slope. So that's the formula. So basically, whatever y is, right, the difference between the y's over the difference between the x's of 2 points, that will let you graph your line, and that will tell you how fast your line is going up. It would also tell you how fast your line is going down. So in the case of negative numbers, let's say I started at 1, y minus oh, yeah. So in the case of negative numbers, let's just pull some negative numbers off the chart. So I have right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have negative 4, and then I have 0. So we have 0, 0, and negative 4, and negative 2. So I'm gonna plug those in. 0 minus 0. Wait, 0 y 0 minus negative 4 over x is 0, 0 minus 2. Oh, that's a positive slope. Hold on, I need a negative one. So 0 minus negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 0 minus 5. And then the x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I have 0 minus negative 5 over 0 minus 5. So that's going to be 5 over negative 5, and that's going to be a negative 1. So when the slope is negative 1, it's going down, right? It's going down, and that's what this red line is indicating, and that's going to be a negative 1 slope. So what we learned is if it's going down, it's negative. If it's going up, it's positive. So whenever it's going up and right, it's positive. Whenever it's going down and right, it's negative. And then wherever it crosses, right? So let me clear some way here. Wherever it crosses, that's my intercept. So when I see a formula, then all I gotta do is first see where it crosses. This crosses at 1, 2, 3, 4. This crosses at 5, right? My y is 5 when it crosses. And then I gotta look to see if the slope is negative or positive. So I'm going to go to this app, and I am going to play this Kahoot. And this is not going to have any numbers. So this is cool. All right, so I'm going to show the pen so you guys can play it yourself later. Share pen. I'm going to show the pen. So write down that pen and you're going to play it yourself later. But we're going to go through here and you guys can just tell me the answers while I go through. So first you're going to check to see where it crosses the y-axis. And then you're going to check to see if it's positive or negative. And these don't even have numbers on them, but you're going to be able to answer them. So just think how quickly you're going to be able to answer these questions on the ACT or the SAT. All right, so we're going to start playing the Don I like that name for myself. I'm the only one that calls me that. All right, so let's go. All right, which equation matches the graph? So first you're going to look at the picture, and then you're going to say, where does it cross the y-axis? It crosses the y-axis at 0, so the slope got to be, the intercept got to be 0. And then it's like, all right, is it positive or negative? It's positive. So only one of them has a positive slope. So you see that 2x, this is negative 2x, and then no intercept because the intercept is 0. So it's got to be that one. All right. All right. You got 30 seconds to answer these questions on the NWEA. All right. You ready? Which equation matches the graph? So now I know that the slope is negative. So I'm just going to look at the yellow and the green. Right. And then I'm saying where the intersect is, where's the place where it intersects the y-axis. So it's negative and it intersects the y-axis is 0. So I'm going to go with yellow. So you can type the color in the chat when you get the answer. All right. All right. Are you guys having fun? Are you beasting out? Which equation matches the graph? So I know that it's positive. So I'm not going to go with anything but a positive slope. So green is out of the question. And then I know that it intersects the y-axis and it's not at 0. So it's only one that has a positive place where it intersects the y-axis, and that's going to be the yellow one. So it's got to be yellow. All right. All right. Which equation matches the graph? Okay, I know that it's negative. The slope got to be negative. So that narrows it down to yellow and blue. And then it intersects at a positive point because it's higher than the 0. So then I'm going to go with blue. All right. Which equation matches the graph? All right. So I know it's positive. So that rules out blue and green. And then I know that it intersects at a negative point on the y-axis. So it's going to be yellow. So I have no choice but to go with the yellow. All right. All right. I see some of you guys have joined me. Welcome. Which equation matches the graph? So I know it's negative. So I'm looking for negative slopes. So it narrows it down to yellow and green. I also know that it intersects at a negative point. So that's going to be yellow. All right. All right. Which equation? So it's negative. So I need a negative slope. And then it intersects at a positive point. So negative slope, positive point. The only one that does that is going to be red. So I'm going to pick red. All right. Which equation matches the graph? Okay, so it's positive because it's going up. So I know it's a positive slope. And then it intersects the y-axis at a negative point. So it's going to be positive slope, negative intercept. All right. The only thing that does that is red. So I'm going to go with red. All right. All right. So we got to be able to make these decisions quick. That's how quick I want to make the decisions. All right. All right. So this does not have a slope at all. So slope equals 0. Anything times 0 is 0. So I say y equals 0 times x. So there's no x plus wherever it intercepts, which is positive. So y equals something positive and there's no x. The only equation like that is the blue one. All right. Which equation matches the graph? Okay, same thing. It's going to go straight up, so there's no y. And then it intersects the x-axis at a negative point. So x equals something negative, so x equals -7. They tried to trick us with that one. All right, but I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. All right, so You guys, here is the pen. Go and try to beat the Don. If you're watching this on replay, that was a cool game, right? Did everybody have a great time? Did everybody learn a lot? All right. So I had a great time. That was awesome. I love slopes, and I'm going to use slopes to grow my Instagram following, my Facebook following, my bank account. I'm going to also use slopes to track infectious diseases. So I want that to be a negative slope, now that I know what negative slopes do. So peace out, guys. If you have not signed up for our summer camp, sign up for it. We will have a big announcement for our summer camp on Wednesday. If you haven't signed up for an assessment, sign up for the assessment. It's $100 off. We're just giving away money here. All right, so go ahead and sign up for assessment. Let us take a look at what your child knows in math and give you a plan to make them geniuses. So peace out. Follow us on Facebook. And before I go, I have a very important question I've been dying to ask everybody. Do you have the time?
5:30 scholars. 5:30. What time is it? 5:30. What time is it? 5:30. What time is it?
Peace.
5:30. All we do is